We're going to pull up this footage now, courtesy of NFL Game Pass.
Yes. So if you just look at this empty set, and what I mean by empty set, all 5 wide receivers sitting up in this empty set. There is nobody in the backfield with Big Ben. So as a defender, when I say empty set, I'm thinking the ball has to come out fast because hopefully I'm banking on my defensive line to put some kind of pressure on Big Ben, who's really not mobile in his older years now. So I'm sitting on every route. And what I mean sitting on every route, I'm barely moving my feet, and I wish MF would throw the ball my way. That's what you're thinking right now when you're a DB sitting in that sector. So if we run the tape again, we'll pause it at the second pause. If we run the tape again, you can tell they're playing a 2-man. So what I mean by a 2-man is a 2-man means 2 safeties are deep, and everybody, if you look at the Cincinnati Bengals and on the defensive side, they're playing underneath or they will be playing underneath. So they want to be sitting underneath every receiver and breaking on everything from the outside. Now, you always got to protect the inside. When you playing 2-man under, you always want to protect the inside. And the reason why you want to protect the inside is because that's a shorter pass for the quarterback to the receiver. It's a very high-risk pass, but it's a shorter pass. So when you sitting under, man, your defensive back coach or your defensive coordinator can always tell you when you playing 2-man under. Make sure you're underneath the receiver. Make sure you're playing inside out. Make sure you're protecting the inside, break on everything that's outside. And if we run this tape again on the third pause, Mark.
And let me hop in here too. One thing I noticed on this play too, look at Big Ben can't really step into the throw, and that's because of the pressure forced by Trey Hendrickson, number 91 of the Bengals, able to bull rush left tackle Dan Moore. I think this pressure disrupted Big Ben's throw. Hendrickson forced 3 turnovers by pressure against the Steelers. First player to do that, Ike, since week 13 of the 2020 season. So his pressure was key in Sunday's game in turnover creation. And it led to not just a turnover and Mike Hilton's pick 6. It was a score. It was a pick 6, not just a turnover, but getting the score on the same play. Complementary football, the defensive lineman putting pressure on the quarterback makes the job on the back half for Mike Hilton a little bit easier.
So teamwork makes the dream work. So you got a quarterback who's not as mobile as he once was, putting pressure on the quarterback, and he can't step up. If you look at what we was talking about earlier before we paused it on the third one, all the guys are sitting underneath the receivers. They're in position. They're protecting the inside, and they can't wait to Ben throw it their way. Now, if you go on the defensive line side, man, what you want to do is you want to help your secondary guy by getting pressure. And this is exactly what he does. Now, we want to talk about a guy, Mike Hilton. We have been talking about Mike Hilton for the longest. I have been a fan of Mike Hilton for the longest. I personally went up to training camp and asked why this guy wasn't playing when Kevin Colbert gave me the opportunity just to sit in some of the scouting meetings. I asked why this guy's not playing. I asked why this guy's a Pittsburgh Steeler. And they finally gave this guy opportunity because every time we watch tape as a scouting department, as a scouting staff, this is the guy, Mike Hilton, who just kept coming up, kept making plays, kept coming up, kept making plays. And some of the guys wanted to talk about his height. I said, height ain't got nothing to do with being a football player. If you look at the Honey Badgers, we don't talk about his height when it comes down to the Honey Badger. He's just a football player. So I looked at Mike Hilton as a football player. He's a Pittsburgh Steeler. We didn't get the contract done in the offseason for Mike. Mike had to go handle his business and get his money. But I thought in the offseason, when we're talking about free agency, I thought he should have been a priority for the Pittsburgh Steelers because he did bring that aggressive personality to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And if we run this tape on the third pause, if we can, Herb, pick 6 to the goddamn house. Pick 6 to the house. I know this killed the Pittsburgh Steelers and took the air out of them. I know everybody on the Cincinnati Bengals defense and team was happy when they saw this because they acquired a guy from the Pittsburgh Steelers and the guy Mike Hilton came through against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's everything that we have been talking about before he went to the Cincinnati Bengals as a Pittsburgh Steelers. Tough, smart, aware, always making plays. So shout out to a Mike Hilton, even though he's not a Pittsburgh Steeler. to me, you still are a Steeler because you bring everything it takes to be a Steeler. I'm sorry you had to get this pick 6-7. I'm sorry he picked 6 you. But Mike, I'm happy you got your shine. And if we can roll the tape, just keep rolling the tape. Mike Hilton on a pick 6. Happy for Mike.
Yeah, some poetic justice. I would accuse him, Mike, of being a Benedict Arnold, but you look at the contract situation, 4-year contract worth up to $24 million. He's making more than $8 million this season. It's due to make from the Bengals. That's more than twice of any amount he made with the Steelers. And we talked about him in previous years, advocating for him to make a Pro Bowl because he consistently makes plays in the nickelback position. And this is just yet another, a chance where he did this. But he was a beloved Steeler. He played for the team from 2016 through 2020. I do not mind him going to get his money in this offseason because if he's going to double his salary, make the most of your opportunity. It was the Bengals' first defensive touchdown as well in 43 games. It was the NFL's longest active streak. A little bit overdue for the Bengals defense to score and get in the paint, as you like to say, Ike.
Right. I'm happy for Mike, man. Mike worked his butt off. Him coming all the way down the depth chart. Me watching him and seeing what he can do. Like I said, this man, he's just making too many plays, man. Why this man not getting a real true opportunity? And they wind up giving Mike opportunity. And, 5 years later, 4 years, $24 million. I'm happy for him. And he's making plays like this for the Cincinnati Bengals. So big shout out to Mike Hilton.
It broke my heart just a little bit, Ike. And I know we're happy for him, though. We're happy for him, though, even though it came against our beloved Steelers.